Welcome back, everybody. It's another Wednesday night. You know what that means? It's the Relationship Gumbo Podcast Live Edition. And I'm glad you're back. And if you are here for the first time, or if you catch this on the replay, please put hashtag replay in the comments so I know you were here. Let me know you're breathing. Let me know you're okay. So we got an amazing guest tonight, a topic that we're going to probably talk about until we leave this earth because it's changing. I don't know whether it's good or bad, but we're going to talk about it tonight. What I want you to do when you come in, make sure you share and invite this with everybody that you know, because this dating thing affects everybody. I don't care if you're single. I don't care if you're married and you got single friends. You might be about to be divorced or something. Who knows? You might need to get this information before something happens. So I want to make sure y'all prepared either way. So share and invite. I need about 30 seconds to make sure that everything is doing what it's supposed to do. So give me those 30 seconds and I'll be right back.
Okay, everybody wants good love. That's true, I know. Derek Jones about to break it down with the Relationship Gumbo. Welcome to the podcast. Ain't no doubt we all need this, ayy. Cause better relationships need better ingredients, ayy. So if you want better relations, it's about communication. Finding love, staying together. We all wanna make it better, yeah. Derek Jones, the host, your relationship coach. Thank you all for tuning in. Relationship Gumbo, ayy.
All right, we are back, and I'm not going to hold y'all too much longer, but I do want to say this. This is also an audio podcast as well, so it's going to go up audio only to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, anywhere you can get a podcast. I'm there. I worked hard on that. You can say, Alexa, play podcast, Relationship Gumbo, and it comes up everywhere you go. You do it on your Fire Stick, all that good stuff. So without further ado, we're going to get started. And if you are here for the first time, the way this goes is, because it's an audio podcast, I'm going to pause for 3 seconds. I'm going to start the podcast. And at the end of the podcast, I'm going to pause for another 3 seconds. And then we out of here. So let's go ahead and get it going. So stand by. Welcome to another episode of the Relationship Gumbo Podcast. My name is Derek Jones, and I am your host. I'm a certified life and relationship coach, an engineer, a strategist, and a mental health advocate. And I think tonight's topic about dating is going to tap into some of y'all mental health too, because some of y'all got some issues out there that we're gonna talk about. But I have a guest tonight. I know y'all love me here by myself, but my guest, she gonna make the stage look a little better. We gonna get this in. Because I love my guest too. And tonight, this guest that's coming on tonight, matter of fact, let me bring her up here. But before she introduces herself, I'm going to give a little bit of commentary because I think that's important. So hold on 1 second, guys. I need you to unmute yourself. Okay, cool. So everybody, this is my guest, Miss Courtney V, right? So let me give you some context before I let her introduce herself. So I always run into people, like I told you guys in past shows, that I'm meeting some amazing people, like since COVID. And I think the first time I even saw your name was probably on one of my IG lives or something. I don't know how, when I have people up, maybe somebody you was connected to. And I was like, and I think I called you a unicorn or something. Maybe that's how you got here. I don't know. But
that's exactly I think
the way she was answering was kind of like, it kind of struck me a little bit. And then when I went to go look at her content, I was like, she keeps it real, but she's intelligent as hell at the same time. And I was like, y'all know I like smart people. I try to bring the smartest folks on my stage, because if you are intelligent and you can regurgitate stuff in a way that people can ingest it, then that's a win, because you get to connect with more people. So anybody that's on here that comes on here tonight, you're going to feel this one tonight. So Courtney, I need you to tell them who you are, and I need to tell them, what you do, your podcast, and then we're going to get right into it.
All right. Well, I just want to say I do appreciate you having me on tonight. I'm ready for the shenanigans, because you definitely did call me a unicorn, okay? But yes, I am Courtney V, host of the Barbie Way podcast, where everything is up for grabs. Nothing is off the table. I try to keep my content very versatile. So, like Derek said, people don't really assume for me to talk about some of the things that I talk about, whether it's like politics, recently the COVID, vaccination and things like that. But I do, and it's fun. You guys can, follow me on Instagram at the with 2 E's Barbie Way, and you'll get to see everything. So check me out.
And we'll have her information in the show notes too of the podcast, so you guys can find her and follow her on Instagram. Because when I tell you, she be out in these Instagram live streets and be on everybody's show, like she be everywhere. And she talks about relationships probably more than I do. If that's even possible, she gets it in. So tonight we just gonna get it popping. Is that way? I don't need, we haven't had a dialogue, but where are you from? New York? It sounds New York to me, or somewhere.
Yep, I'm up north in Connecticut, but I'm actually moving down south next week. So
okay, cool. Down south, like south, or because I'm in Maryland, they call us north. People up where you are, they call us country.
I mean, yeah, Virginia.
Okay, yeah. So so let's do this. I have a couple of little bullet points, but we just go. Y'all know I just go with the flow, but I don't want to get off track because this topic can go. It can go. So we're talking about dating, and the topic title is dating on life support. And I guess really what we're really saying is the way that people have traditionally dated on life support. And the other important thing tonight is, even though your boy tries to make himself look good, it's 2 different generations on here. So we get to see her perspective, and you get to see the gray hair perspective at the same time. And we're gonna see how that
Not
works.
the gray hair now.
Because I try to put the juices and berries in, but the gray, I can't. I'm not trying to have my stuff looking like super dark black. So because them dudes be spraying. Anyway, so let's do this. I'm gonna ask you the first question.
Okay.
And I want you to give me kind of a broader answer as to where you see, do you think the traditional way of dating is just done, like it's not even a thing anymore based on what you see, or is it kind of like a little bit of both and we just don't even know where it's gonna go? What's your overall opinion
on it? So the thing is, I would like for my generation to be kind of on how things were back in the day, right? Like I feel like men were more respected back in the day. Things were just a little bit more traditional, whereas now it's like a competition of who. It's not even like you can find love or you can find someone you can build with. It's just almost as how much you can get from somebody at this point. Nothing's genuine. So it's always questionable. It's difficult. It's ghetto. I say that all the time. Dating today is ghetto.
Yeah, I haven't. I keep my ear to the streets, to the dating streets, but I'm not out there like people are. So I get to hear it second and third hand.
Are you single though, or are you just?
No, I'm off. Almost next month will be 11 years of marriage. See,
that's dope. Congratulations to y'all. Yeah,
we done beat the odds. We married more than a year. So, but yeah, I'm very familiar. I coach people, so I hear it all, and it's pissing me off. And so I was like, we need to talk about this because some of this stuff I don't understand. Some of it I do, and you're gonna help me fill the blanks in. So I'm gonna tell you how I feel about it right now. Yeah, you're gonna have to get a T-shirt that says "Dating today is ghetto." Somebody put that in the comments.
I've seen that in the comments. Yeah, it's very high, not recommended.
Yeah, so I think the way that I look at it from my perspective, because when I was coming up, and I hate to sound like the old guy, but I'm the old guy. When I was coming up, we had certain things that was expected. Like, you had your anomalies where people just didn't give a damn and they was doing some of the similar stuff. But for the most part, you couldn't be somebody's man without taking them out on a date, without actually putting the work in, having some game, and really having being able to have communication. And now it's just you don't even have to know how to talk. All you have to do is put in 3 WID in the text and GM.
No, you're not lying. You're not lying. And you know what I think plays a factor into that? How it's transitioned over the years? because I actually did some research on how the dating has transpired over the last 50 years. And not to sound like that, but it's also due to technology. Like how you said, you don't even have to know how to talk. So yeah, people just slide in your DMs with the craziest things. You could be whoever you want to be on the internet. So that's cool and all. And then it's just like when we meet up, it's a totally different vibe, or it's a totally different person, or it's not what you expected. Whereas back in the day, you know, as you said it, I feel like you guys didn't have the phones. It was I'm gonna see you here. I'm gonna
wait. I'm not that old. We did.
But you know what? The beepers.
No,
I give you that.
Right, look, no, my daughter's 12, and she be asking me these questions like, "Did they have cars when you were little?" And I'm like, you know what? Don't do me.
Did they have computers and anything? But I'm serious.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get somebody Triumphant TV in the comment says, "Who's to blame, girls or guys?" As to where it is. I'm gonna let you answer, then I'm gonna answer. Then we're gonna go into this next bullet point I have.
Okay. So when I first heard this question, who's to blame, I automatically thought it was the woman. Because I said there's so much women out here with, you know, city girl mentality, and dating is like a transaction. That's what I said. But now I do want to fault that at the men. Because in my opinion, I feel like the men are the leading ones. They are the one to lead the relationship, or they're the one to direct and dominate the relationship because they are the man. That's how it traditionally was before. So I will have to blame the man. But you know what? At this point, it's equally.
You saw me shaking. I was waiting for you to finish that. So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right? I think to a certain extent, and I don't say all because someone be like, I'm not like that. I get it. I'm not talking about you right now.
Yeah, we ain't talking about you.
Here's the thing. Men are supposed to be the chasers, right? And they're not chasing anymore. But then you have to say in my bullet point right here literally says, is the date even required anymore? So if someone isn't requiring you to court them, do you fault the person who's not courting?
You know
still get the same results?
I heard someone on a live, because you know I'll be in these Instagram live streets, saying that you know, that dating and courting is basically synonyms. It's the same thing. So people are running around with this, you know, this thought. It's not true. To me, I don't think dating and courting is the same thing.
Right.
I think exactly. Okay. Because I knew I wasn't bugging. I said no. That's not the same thing.
Because I think courting speaks to intention, right? I'm dating with a purpose. You can go on a date with 1,000 people and it only happened once or twice. But when you actually say I'm courting someone, that means I'm focusing on you because I got I'm taking you off the market because I like it right here. You can go, like, we're gonna talk about this in a minute, but you know how people. Well, no, I'm gonna leave that there because I wanna bring it up separately. Dope Discussions with Erica podcast says this generation doesn't know what courting is. So just to kind of like double down on what I was saying, is it even required for a man? And in this case, the women are asking dudes out on dates now too, but
they getting on one knee. But
is it even a requirement when the dating kind of looks more like hook up, hang out? We just chilling.
You like situationships.
Yeah.
Let's do this, but let's not call it this.
My bullet point? Are you reading my bullet point? That's the next topic. But anyway,
literally, it's a segue into that because that's all it is now. You know, you see people that say they're not looking. They don't use the word courting, obviously, but they're not looking for a relationship. They're not looking for love. I'm just looking for fun, right? And then they have the fun, and then now feelings start to get involved, and now it's attachment, but let's not call it a relationship. This is just a low. Exactly. Erica, Netflix and chill. You know, that's how these dudes come into this dating realm. Like, let me take you out here on a date. And I'm always advocating, ladies need to stop accepting dinner dates. See me when the sun is out. I'm not an owl. these guys want to take you out on a $200 expensive date and think that this is going to secure the night, secure you, secure this. And this is why I bring it back to the city girl mentality, because there's girls that's just like, I don't know if you're aware, but there's girls that's like, if you want to talk to me, cash at me. You know, you want to see this.
Hell no.
Everything it's a transaction. It's not anything genuine. Like, hey, I really like you. I saw you on this day. I really would like to get to know you. It's more like, hey, let me take you out here. And in the female's mind, because they think this entertainment world is the reality, is like, oh, he got money, so let me go out with him now and see what else I can get from him. So dudes get so used to that where they come across all females this way because they thinking, oh, what you want? Just a $200 date and then I can secure. No, you come across a girl like me and it's just like, absolutely not, sir. Not over here.
Look, okay, y'all with this sir, man. Y'all done gave sir a whole new definition. But anyway, so here's my thing, right? You said $200 date. I'm laughing because these dudes want the same expectation going to Fridays. And they be like, well, I took you out. So, and I'm like, dude, you spent $40-$50. Stop playing. Anyway, you said $200 dates. I guarantee
I'm telling
you,
they take you to Ruth Chris and they just like.
Let me tell you something. I don't know about your generation, but Gen X, these dudes ain't taking nobody out to no damn Ruth Chris or nothing even nowhere near that. It ain't happening. They'll take you somewhere moderate, but ain't nobody doing that. Even in your generation, they not even really doing that for real. It's a certain caliber of dude that would do that, but most of these dudes be like,
Simps.
Huh?
The Simps will.
Yeah, you're
men
right about
that lead with their pocket.
You said the S word.
Yeah, I threw it out there because listen, those are the ones that lead with their pocket. And you know, you got guys playing this friend zone role, waiting around just to maybe, hopefully, she'll see me. Sir, again, move on. It's messed up. It's complex, okay?
So okay, so let's talk about situationship real quick. For people, and I'm gonna speak to you and like your peers. Is a situationship good enough?
Absolutely not. No.
Like not you, but like the people that you see out here that are doing it every day and they're claiming that they good. Do you think, we know ultimately it's not, but do you think for them just being out here, do they feel like if I can get that versus nothing, then I'm good?
Okay, well, it would have to be, I mean, it would have to be subjective, right? So whatever that person is looking for, but I think in long term, no, that's not going to be something worth keeping around, because at some point you're going to want some clarification. What are we doing here? What is this? We going out on dates, we doing this, we traveling, you know, we do, what's going on? Because to me, if you're giving somebody your time, that means something.
Yeah.
No matter who it is, if it's a best friend, a lover, if you giving somebody your time, that means something. So if I'm giving you my time, I don't want to be calling this a situationship. I need some clarity. What are we doing here? Because if not, I'm wasting my time on just, you know, the moment. Nah, I don't have time like that. No woman should.
The thing, what I always talk about on my show is about how people will not state their full intentions. They'll say that they're not looking for anything, but then they give you the boyfriend treatment and expect for you not to catch feelings. And then when you catch feelings and you ask them for the intentions, and they say, remember in the beginning, I told you that I didn't want anything. So what's this? And it's like, but y'all going out to eat dinner. You done met the mama. Y'all went on vacation. And it's like, wait, like y'all holding hands on the beach. And it's like, situation, what is this?
Yeah, that's a problem. But also it's because women are allowing it too. And a lot of times, you know, women pull this, I can change him or I can fix this mindset. And it's like, stop doing that, because you end up hurting yourself. We see it all the time. Women keep, you know, the children just to keep the man, or, you know, they'll do all these things to show that they want this person. Vice versa, men do it too. But it's just like, people don't just take cues. Like it's not what it's it's not what it's hitting for. It's really unfortunate. But I think a lot of people go into the relationships like that with that whole mindset of I don't want nothing serious, because I think it's easier to like, dip your feet in it versus than just jumping in it. They want to see what it's about. Well, how much can I see what's going on first? And then I may want to do that. Like, no, be clear.
So 2 points from what you said, and I just want to add on a little bit, but I do have a question or two for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that this behavior for a lot of people comes out of a scarcity mindset? Like, there aren't a whole bunch of good people out there, so if I attach myself to this one, even if it's a situationship, at least I'm getting something, because if I'm out here on the dating market, it's only like 3 dudes and I got to get one of them. So and it kind of puts you in this frenzy of hurry up and buy. Like, let me hurry up and figure it out. And if I see the red flags, I'm gonna just go ahead and try to figure this out, because maybe I can, like you said, change it into something that I want. If it has a little bit of what I want, let me go ahead and try to mold it, because if I do that, then I don't have to be out here on the market no more. But it's still not a relationship though. It's crazy.
I think so like you said, people are like going into it like that, right? I think it is a scarcity aspect in that, because for one, you want to secure yourself. That sounds like somebody that's trying to secure themselves. Like, I got to make sure I'm good. I'm getting what I like. It's very, I can't even put my name. I do think scarcity plays a factor. Yes. And it becomes an obsession, because at what point do you make up your mind? Like, how much do you want? You know what I mean? At what is good enough for that person? If you guys are doing all of these things that seem like a relationship, but you're not calling it one, then what would make you call it one? It's like they're looking for that last piece to the puzzle. And sometimes that last piece of the puzzle be within yourself. And that's why you going from partner to partner to partner to partner to partner, because you ain't really reflected on what you really wanted. You just chasing something that looks pleasing, which a lot of females do. I really do blame the city girls. They just toxic.
Yeah, and that whole I'm so anti being a follower, but I know that's the majority of our society. And the second point I wanted to make was about, this is what I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I know a lot of times people that are in older generations, they try to mimic what's trending too, and it just kind of looks even whacker. But I see a lot of younger people, like the bottom half of the millennials, and then are you Gen Z? I don't like the people.
No, not Gen Z. Nope.
I'm a
90s baby. Yeah.
Okay, so because I think Gen Z cuts off at like what, 25 or somewhere around. I ain't trying to, don't tell nobody your age, because
it's fine. I'm 20. I'm 26.
Okay, so you right. So you right on it. You right on the line though. Like, you right there.
No, I think I want to say Gen Z starts approximately like at least 1998 or 1999.
Okay, I believe you. Either way, you around there. So here's the thing I want to ask you, because this is what I see in a lot of like bottom half of millennials and like Gen Z. It almost feels like people have seen a lot of hurt, like in their parents and like people around them, and the examples that they have of relationships looks kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the way that people date, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, or give your opinion when I'm done. It almost gives the impression that they want to guarantee an outcome, so they don't go all the way in emotionally, even time, because they're afraid that if they commit to something, then that's the area where they may feel the pain, and it may turn into the stuff that they saw. So for me, it's 2 things. You're afraid to take a risk because you might get hurt, and or once you commit and call it a thing and give it a title, then you have to be accountable for your actions. And who really wants to do that? So if you live in a gray area,
you don't have to
be accountable. That. You don't have to give it a title. And y'all are doing the boyfriend, girlfriend stuff anyway. And if it doesn't work, you're not separating from a boyfriend. It's just
I
dude you hanging out with.
Listen, I actually agree with you, Derek, for real, for real. I think too, in my generation and the Gen Zs too, right? Because they don't want to deal with the accountability part, I feel. So again, like you stated, that's why they stay in this gray area, because they don't really have to acknowledge or, speak on anything. They just going with the flow at that point. But onto your aspect of like, seeing like parents, for instance, like I used to kind of be like that at one point, like, oh, there's no point of because my parents got divorced when I was like maybe 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, there's no point of being married, because you're going to get divorced anyway. And I've always had that outlook as if nothing lasts forever. There's no fun in forever. And I think I almost still have that aspect, because to me, I'm almost against monogamous relationships. I don't see how it can happen. But yeah, you may see that trauma growing up, and especially how it may have affected you. Of course, you're going to move differently in the dating world. But again, like it kind of all reverts back to communication and setting the intentions. And that's the part that a lot of people are missing. No one sets their intentions. They just go with the flow. And then, at some point, it's like you get your feelings hurt. People get their feelings hurt.
Yeah. This right here.
Exactly, Tony.
I'm gonna get to a couple of these comments. I see a couple of my I do this show on Monday called Shop Talk. It's an all-male panel. I see Triumphant TV, Tony Watson here. Tony Massey Cooks also from the show. He says relationships without titles equals love without accountability.
Absolutely.
And let's see here. Let me make sure I'm getting them all.
Yeah, no, I see Erica's comment. The thing is, it's a lot of options, yes, but the quality in the options. That's the part. It's okay, cool. There's a lot of different brands of bread, but what's the real healthy good one? That's the one I want.
Yeah. And I literally did that show, I think last week, about the illusion of unlimited options.
It really isn't. But you know what? Tinder and POF and all these dating apps do that, because why? You just swipe left if you like, swipe right.
Yeah.
If you don't, that's the problem. It's not like that.
And what I said last week is, if you do the math, right? Let's say you have all of those options, then you have to narrow it down to what you like, what's going to fit your criteria. And then by the time you do all of that, it's really a finite amount of people that fit that. Yeah. And then they got to like you too. So then it gets even smaller. And it's like, if that's the case, then you got to really be intentional about who you connect with.
Yeah.
And that right there, if you don't do that, you're going to go out and meet a whole bunch of people that's going to ruin your whole idea of what this whole thing is about. And then you're like, man, online dating is trash. Men are trash. Oh my God. And I'm like, well, tell me what's the last 5 dudes you went out on a date with? Oh yeah, it didn't work out because, and I'm like, but did you ask these questions? No, I didn't. I just thought he was cute. And his resume looked good he said he's a doctor. And I'm like, yeah, but are y'all compatible?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like sometimes women you ask a woman what she wants in a man. I think I've seen posts like that, where there's like intimacy or loyalty or I'm trying to think of them off the top of my head, or money, obviously. And money's always the top too, And the thing is, I'm not trying to say like go out and date a guy who's not making as less than you or not have a job. But like sometimes I don't feel like the money secures everything. Like, yes, it's something you want and something you can build with. And I think that comes with a character of a person. But like we see these entertainers all day. They got all the money in the world and they're still not happy. So obviously money is not going to be the cure to a stable relationship. And that's how people are looking for. They want, okay, how much money he got? I hear that so often. Girl, you better go on that date with him. He make money. He got money. Okay, but what does that got to do with him? His personality, how he treats people.
Yeah. So there's a question on the floor, because I knew that somebody was going to ask. And I'm going to preface this with, I hear this a lot from your generation and below. A lot. And the people that are asking the question are Generation Xers. So we cut from a different kind of a era. So explain a little bit about why you're against monogamy.
Okay, so maybe against trigger. It triggered.
We gonna hang on to that part.
It triggered. Okay, what I mean by that is that as you know, okay, back in the day, monogamous relationships, right? It's like the women, a lot of women, the grandmothers I can think of, didn't leave these relationships because at some point they were almost like secondary citizens and at that time, you know, this was the man, where now, I'm not saying it's a good thing, women kind of, and men, women will tend to leave faster, right? That's the point I'm trying to make. Also, monogamy for me, Courtney V, I don't see it being something that I would want. Because first off, I am, you know, bisexual. And two, I don't see how I can be with the same person for a long time and still have that same fire, intimacy, connection. Obviously, the building is involved and everything like that, but I just don't, the attraction for me is what I see. I don't know if that will last. Like at some point, I'm not saying that I will want to be in an open relationship or being in a polygamous relationship. No, I just don't see how love can last, you know, with this kind of person for so oh God.
It's coming.
I don't want to say the word boring, but for me, it just sounds boring or very routine. And it's like, okay, at some point, it's like you have to compromise, you have to sacrifice. And right now in my 20s, that just sounds like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Maybe it's an older thing for me, but that's my take on it. I mean, I'm not saying I'm down with the polygamy. I'm down with this. Monogamous just seems very traditional.
So I'm gonna say these comments and then I'm gonna say my piece, because it's not like I understand why your generation, like it's not just you. It's like
right.
damn near like most of you, right? So I understand kind of where it comes from, but so Tony Massey Cook says, so you need options. Is that why?
The thing, okay, you know, it would be grand if I did have a husband, I did have a man, and he understands that I like females too. And I may want some females too.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, but I don't know what you call that, because that's not monogamous. Monogamous is very much loyal and faithful to this one person and this one thing.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. Would you, like, okay, not monogamous, but would you have to have connection to something or someone on a consistent basis? Or are you just like, if it don't work, I could be by myself? Or do you still have a desire to have somebody?
Absolutely. Like, I want to be married. You know what I mean? I want to have kids. I know.
Wait.
I know this. I know.
Wait. I'm gonna let you finish though. Go ahead. I need to please solve this calculus problem for me.
Right now, listen. What I'm trying to say is, right now, I do not want to be in a monogamous relationship. Right. The reason I feel like I'm against the monogamous relationship is because it does seem boring. However, when I do find that one person, no, I don't want to be alone. When I do find that one person, I will want this person, with communication and understanding and being intentional while we're dating, hopefully to be courting. I want him to understand that these are the things that I like as well. Someone that who's willing to incorporate that in our relationship. How, to me, intimacy is a big thing. That's all I'm really trying. It's a big thing for me. It's like, if I'm not satisfied, it's going to be problems. It's going to be problems. And I feel like I see that a lot. I hear so many married people say, you know, oh, it's cheaper to keep her. You know, divorce is expensive. They're not happy. You know, women cheat. I hear from men, women cheat more than men. So just because you're married, not for saying you, but married people who've been together 20 years, 15 years, does not necessarily mean they're happy. A lot of people stay in these relationships because it's comfortable. And again, it's just take a risk. Oh, nobody's not going to want me. I'm 30 and I have 2 kids. Or, oh, nobody's not going to want me. Like, no, like, I don't want to be in that predicament. If I'm not happy and things are not working out within our relationship, it is time to move on.
Yeah, I talk about this subject a lot. I'm going to say my piece because this is a whole show right here. We'll have you back and have the Courtney V show and get it in for real, because y'all, you see the comments.
I'm trying to read
like,
if they
like, what the hell? But here's the thing, right? like I said before, y'all have seen some horrible examples of what marriage looks like. So the side effect to that is, why the fuck would I want that? Why would I want that? I've heard all the complaints. And as a married man, I'm not going to stand by and say, you know, all marriages are beautiful and you should want one. But here's the thing. This is my pushback to marriage, commitment, monogamy. Is it the institution of marriage? Or is it the fact that those two people may have picked wrong? Maybe the communication. So it's really a people thing. It's not a marriage thing, right? Because if two people don't communicate well, then they will separate, whether it or communicate or whatever the issue is. You can do that right now in a regular relationship without being married. It's not a function of the institution of marriage. If I got married to you because we had a kid or we've been together for 3 years, let's just go ahead and do it. You don't have a foundation, then the marriage breaks up. And then people say, it was because you got married. No, it's not. It's because two people didn't take the time to really figure out but they got married by obligation or circumstance instead of saying we got married because we knew that we were compatible. We answered all the questions. We did the work. We learned each other, the love languages. I mean,
but isn't it a chance that people do outgrow one another? Like, I get what you're saying. Right, it can happen.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. If you're consistently measuring the pulse of your relationship, those changes don't happen abruptly. And you can grow and learn and mold together over time. Nobody stays the same forever. But if I'm receptive to you, because your core values hopefully won't change. It's the stuff around that, right? The stuff around that, if the core of you remains the same, your values, that's what I'm falling in love with. All the other stuff is because we're working as a team, right? And I'm not sitting here saying, don't do it your way. Don't do it. I'm nobody's judge. I'm saying if you're going to say the reason why your stuff is destroyed is the only reason is because you're married, I call bullshit. Because it's two human beings that have to get along, right? Are you frozen? If you can hear me, click the refresh button in the tab. It looked like you frozen and then come back in because it looks like you're frozen on my end. Everybody that's in the comments, tell me if she's frozen. Refresh your screen if you can hear me, Courtney. She's gonna come right back, guys. But look, I'm gonna just finish this up because that as a relationship coach and as a person who really pays attention to human behavior, like a lot, like obsessively so, people don't get along. We get in relationships and things that we probably should have never been in, and then we get married, and then people say it's because they got married that's the problem. And I'm like, not really. So it's a tough situation when you have the traumas and the stains of seeing like your parents break up and all of that. And you're like, well, they were married and it didn't work. So I don't want marriage. So now I'm going to create a scenario where I feel safe and comfortable. But are you really? But I want her to come back up because I don't want to make this about a show about, we talk about dating, but your boy was triggered. Let me see if she can come, if she comes back when she comes back. But I'm gonna still keep talking because you know I can do that. But I'm gonna save the dating topic. So, and I know all of y'all that come, you know, from the same era that I do, probably feel the same way. Like we know that. There she go. Hold on, she's coming back, guys. Welcome back.
I don't know what happened. I'm just on my phone now, so sorry about that.
No problem. So let me just like give me my little 60 seconds and then we're gonna go back to the topic. We all got triggered at the same time. And it's not your fault. It's partially our fault, right? As our generation, like we created the scenario where you guys look at marriage and say, hell no. But at the same time, we really have to look at how into the point of the topic about why dating looks like it is, if we don't learn how to communicate better, how to engage better, how to get into a situation and have rules of engagement. I'm going to argue with you, but I'm not going to hurt you. We're going to make sure that this thing rocks a certain way. Right. You're always going to have messed up marriages because people don't even know.
That foundation isn't set in stone. I hear you.
So when you, because I hear this a lot, that's why it's not a you thing. It's like, I would never get married. I would never be in a monogamous relationship. And when I ask them why, they're like, look at what happens to all of the marriages. None of them work. So why would I want that? And I'm like, it's not the marriage. I know what
you're saying. It's not necessarily the marriage itself. And I get what I totally follow what you're saying. And I think that is definitely true. I think it's true because what we see growing up or what we experience and people that we come across, we kind of categorize marriage as this, thing, but it's not about the word marriage. It's about who you make it. But my only pushback is men today don't have that mindset when it comes to marriage. And a lot of people in my generation look at marriage more so as the wedding more than the marriage. It's the flowers, the bouquet, the beautiful dress, the people at the wedding. That's more exciting to them than actually understanding who they're marrying.
Yeah, I get it. Like I said,
and it makes it difficult. It makes it difficult. Like, not saying that I'm not against monogamous. I just feel like whoever I'm going to be married to has to understand who I am. So obviously that foundation has to be built initially.
Right. And every like I always tell people, I'm not anybody's judge, and I know there's all different flavors of types of relationships and all of that. I also believe that we inherently want to be connected to each other. We just may not necessarily know how. We may not have had the best examples in Generation X, and we definitely didn't lead you guys. So it's like, y'all are the result of us not leading you and not showing you and talking to you guys about what's out there, what to expect. And now you guys are like, you know what? I'm really over it. Like, we can hang out. And as long as I ain't got to call it a thing, because when I call it a thing, it's going to turn into that. And I don't want that. So we just going to hang out and do situationships because at least I'm protected in that way. That's how I feel it kind of morphs into.
I feel like it could be a guard thing for certain people. But you know what? There is a handful of females that are in my age, a little older, a little younger, and they actually do want to be married.
Yeah, it's like this little. Stop. It's the hand. It's real tiny. They there though. I'm joking.
They're there though, and they want that. I just feel like, just the selection of people or the mindset, not even the people, the mindset of people aren't so grand, like it's so crazy nowadays, like how everything is. Because for me, I still don't even like the online dating aspect. I don't like that. I don't see it's just so weird to me. Like, I'm online, I would rather be, seen in my natural element possibly, or just doing something that you see me, I love to do. But like, this online stuff, it feels like a facade. And I think that's another build up wall of against marriage, because the steps to go, you got to do the dating and then the courting and then this. And maybe it's just laziness too in our generation. We don't want to put the work in. But after some point, it's like, damn, you know what? F this. I'd rather just not even deal with all this, because it's just too, like, you get tired. You get tired.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna read a couple comments, and then I want to speak to this online dating thing, because that's another one of my bullet points that I have here. We don't have it. I think we almost out of them, but I want to make sure I hit these points, because we was definitely into Courtney's "I'm Against Monogamy" show.
I was triggered, child. I
said you triggered the hell out of everybody. So Erica says it's interesting to hear. Has our generation failed to show them something to look for? I think we have. Not all of us, of course, but there's a lot of trauma, destruction, dysfunction, and like I said, my generation, our parents didn't sit us down and talk to us about we might have saw, but we didn't know the inner workings of how to engage and how to treat, and how men are different from women, and maybe you need to, do this and do that. And so it looks crazy. And so Let me read these comments. Joyful and Blessed says a lot of women want to be a bride but don't want to be a wife. They want a wedding, but the marriage is a different story. Yeah.
Ty Moore has a really good point too. Nobody's not dealing the same things they did anymore. The thing
yeah,
is,
that's true too. That's a piece of it. That's definitely a piece of it.
You know, somebody saying they fully understand their issue. I don't necessarily think it's an issue though. You know what I'm saying? Because there's people out here who indeed do not want to get married. They are comfortable with, you know, living how they live with situationships, but they'd rather do for themselves. They're, you know, that's a thing. I don't really think it's an issue. I just think it's more like a preference. And I think when we do say this to the Gen X generation, they're like, oh my God, you know what? And I think it's because it goes against what was what you initially saw growing up too. You know, I think back in the day, it was very normal to see a household together, the mom, the dad, the kids. That was normal. Whereas growing up within my generation, it wasn't so much of that. Not saying that I didn't have that. I had that. But a lot of other people, I'm speaking of like, you know, within my generation, they did not have that. So they don't understand that they have to put that work in. But I think that whole like what you're saying, putting the work and being in tissue, that goes with everything in life. And I'm so big on what's for you is for you. I feel like you are what you attract. So if you out here, you know, doing X, Y, and Z, you're gonna attract X, Y, and Z. That's just how it works. You know, that's how I feel about it. So I just wanted to clear. I don't think it's an issue. I think it's more so of a preference. And you know, a lot of people are used to that.
Yeah, and Young Dolomite says some people are better off happily single than miserable and married. So again, I say there's no such thing as a guaranteed perfect outcome. Miserable and married is a function of the people that are in the marriage. And if we separate it that way, then part of the solution, even though marriage may not be your goal, I get it. But the bigger solution is to learn how to connect with people better so that if you decide to get married, it doesn't look like destruction because you figured out how to interact with each other. Right. Anybody who does any kind of psychologist, therapist, coach, they'll tell you communication is one of the biggest reasons why people's stuff blows up outside of like money, but then that still comes into how you interact with each other. And if you don't have that, you're going to hurt each other. You're going to piss each other off to a point where you don't even want to be in the same room. And then you have to separate, or somebody does something destructive. And then you're like, well, if they would have never got married, they probably would have worked out. Not true. If you wasn't supposed to be there, you wasn't supposed to be there. So, so because here's the thing. I dare anyone who says marriage is a recipe for disaster. I dare you to find me people who are in relationships that are not married, that have never broken up or had any trauma or any issues. It happens to all of us. Right. Everybody has crazy relationships, breakups, pain that aren't married. It happens to humans.
Yeah.
So if that's true, huh?
It's a human thing.
It's a human thing. Like if not being married was I'm happy as hell and I'm not married, we would never do it. Like, okay, if I never get married, I'm always going to be happy. No, people pick wrong. People choose.
And that's the thing. People choose wrong. And like you said, you know, previously before, people are not clear with their intentions. They go with the whole, you know, oh, we're doing this, we're having fun, we're doing this, like, yo, let's just get married. You know, like it's just a thing to do, but they don't I get it. Marriage is a working process. It's not just something you do. I understand it's marriage is like practice. If you're good at it, it'll get better and better and better. I totally get that. But you know what? It is subjective because here I go bringing the negative side of it. For me, it's the stagnate, like somebody being stagnant, or you know, I guess that's a fear. You put in, I hear so many women like, oh, I've been with him for 20 years and we got divorced. Like, damn, you know, like, I really don't want to be in that. I do not want to find out 20 years later that he cheated on me or he realized that I'm not the woman of his dreams anymore. And, you know, who's going to want, I would think, who's going to want me now? You know, you gave your life, your time, you're invested, whatever, and then it doesn't work out.
I'm not saying that can't happen for this, but I would like to ask you and also the chat, because you guys went in on me about this monogamy.
You good? Just get it in.
What is if it's not monogamy, is polygamy something that you guys are against? Because
Can I
they
answer
say
for them?
historically, polygamy was the thing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna answer. It's like there's some people that are going to say no, but I'm gonna say this once again. I'm not your judge. Do you, right? I'm not against polygamy, but what I'm saying is, if your reason for not being in a monogamous relationship is because there's 50% divorce rate, it's not a fair assessment, right? Because then it becomes a thing of, it's just like when men say, well, I don't date black women because the few that I've seen treated me like shit, so I'm going to date white. You really don't, the sample size is too small.
Yeah.
Right? And in order for you to be in any type of committed relationship, there's risk involved. So if you say, well, I need a guarantee of success, so I'm just not going to do it, then at what point do you take a risk?
Yeah, you got to take
right. You got to take a risk. Marriage is a risk. Being a girlfriend is a risk. If you say 50% divorce rates, I want someone to find out what's the breakup rate of people that's not married. It's got to be probably like 70% or some craziness. Like, it happens. It happens to humans. So if that's true, doesn't matter if you polygamous, doesn't matter if you monogamous, doesn't matter what alphabet group you belong to, right? You are a human being. And if you deal with another human being that comes with their own traumas and their own issues, and you say, I want to go there, whether you bisexual, whatever, if you say, I choose this person, it's a risk because they come with shit too. So now you got to say, okay, now you have to have the discernment and the boundaries to say, okay, these are the things that I'm not willing to put up with. And if it doesn't work, then I'm out. If you stay too long because those red flags didn't really mean shit because you wanted to be there, and then you say, well, I stayed for 10 years. Is that the relationship, or is that a you problem?
Yeah, that is, and that's the part I think I hear a lot too. And what you're saying in short is accountability. And no one takes that accountability when it comes to the relationships. They'll blame it on, oh, this is, this is this is that. I'm just reading the comments now with Eric about marriage will not be stagnant when you constantly growing together. And embracing that. I think the attraction does die when you connect it with a partner. It can, and that's why I said it could be because I'm in my 20s still. I just look at it like, I don't know. But obviously, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, of course, I will want to be married with kids. But my partner needs to know, and maybe that might not be my case back then, but I don't think it will be. It's not a phase. This is who I am. He will have to accept that. Like you said, everybody comes with, I don't want to say baggage, but people come with stuff, and people are unlearning still childhood traumas and things that they saw growing up. But for me, like you mentioned, it's accountability. You shouldn't be out here dating if you really hurt like that. You know what I mean? You just transferring these energies to other people is not a healthy thing. It won't last long, in my opinion. And that's the thing. Like, nothing really, what we see does not last long. It doesn't. So I admire long-term relationships. I admire when I see couples that are happy. Like, yeah, we've been together 10 years, 20 years, because I know that it took some time and work and effort to get where you at now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ty Moore, 26, I think. You said you're 26, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? And I think I got like one more question, and then we're gonna start wrapping up. Because it's almost past Courtney's bedtime.
Oh.
And so, man, I'm gonna tell you something. If y'all ever when y'all win, y'all follow Courtney on IG. Courtney be in these IG live streets like no one I've ever seen, and she gets it in. That's commendable, by the way, because you get these relationship topics in. So here's the thing, right? And to speak to a lot of people that are like from my generation and maybe like the upper half of the millennials, it's you have a generation now, Gen Z, and maybe like a little bit of the last part of the millennials that are so afraid of risk and accountability that they don't even try.
Yeah.
Right? Like they don't even want to call a date a date. because that's almost a commitment.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't want to feel hurt. I don't want it to look like the things I saw. So let's not even, no titles. Let's just hang out and see and then like 6 months later, you still hanging out because you don't want to go past a point, because what if it doesn't work? I don't even want to call it a failure. So I'm not even going to take the risk. So
I don't want to commit to that.
Yeah. If you commit, I just had this conversation on my live, I think yesterday, if you give someone a title, then you have to be accountable to what you committed to, and who wants that pressure?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
My generation, it was always about risk. We had to build tough skin. The rejection, we had to suck that up and keep it moving and keep trying. Now it's like,
though. Men do not like take rejection well. And I think that comes with confidence, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh, Ty Moore, what I mean about hanging out is they won't date at all and put the hanging out in its place and do all the boyfriend girlfriend stuff because they don't want to call it anything. Like, so if you start to say we're dating, then it almost looks like you're putting your foot past a conversation or a drink at the. So let's just hang. I don't even know what the hell the term is. We chilling, we hanging out, whatever it is.
Netflix.
You don't have to call it anything so that you don't have to be accountable for even showing. Like one of my
exactly.
One of my bullet points is how now it's about everything have to be 50-50. So I don't as a man, just to make sure and guarantee that you're not gonna get me for my money, I'm gonna need you to pay half to make sure you're not a goat. And I'm like, dude, you make $30,000 a year. Like, what empire is she about to take from you?
Right. So I just want to acknowledge Ty Moore's comment. Here's my thing. I don't think women should be approaching men at all, because I still have the belief that men are the hunters and men will go after what they want. Yes, a woman can lead with, where if it's in a physical environment kind of thing, you guys are in the same place at the same time. A woman will let you know with body language and anything that she's interested. But I don't see women asking men on dates. I'm not saying if y'all together, of course, but initially asking a man on a date or coming up to a man, I'm sorry, I am not doing that. I'm not. I don't think that is.
And that is why you're a unicorn.
But is that a thing? Is that a thing?
Oh, it's a thing.
It's
a thing. Even in my like people that are like over 40, these chicks are like, yeah, what's up? And it's like, wait, like, do I get to put the work in or no? Like it, and then when you get down to Gen Z and some of the millennials, these women are like, well, if he ain't gonna talk to me, I'm gonna go and shoot my shot and see what happens. And if it's a traditional type of man, he's gonna be like, hold on, like you just outmanned the man.
Yeah.
But then we get into this conversation about, well, why is there a such thing as gender roles anyway? And you should be able to do whatever you want to do because we're all equal.
And listen, and that's where sometimes I say I love the feminist movement. I agree women are, however, I just feel like you have to let the man be the man. In short, I will say that. All that equal and equality, not in a relationship. I don't think it can't be two dominant people or two, people who are just, no, it has to be one that is the dominant, the leader, the protector, the provider. It has to be one. We both can't be doing this. What are we doing? I'm not saying that one can't be independent, but as far as in a relationship factor and a marriage factor, in my opinion, I don't see two dominant people. Like, I hate low key when people say, oh, alpha female. There's no such thing as an alpha female. What does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's
Ty Moore says people want to pick and choose when to apply how things were back in the day to how things are now. Yeah. So let me expound on that a little bit, right? Because that's exactly true. People want modern things to happen, and they also simultaneously, like, I'll give you an example. A woman could say, I'm independent. I got my own stuff.
Right.
I don't need you. But then when they meet you, then they want you to be the sole provider.
They want the traditional man.
Yeah. Like how you can, but it's a big ask to have a modern and a traditional person in the same body, even though you may tiptoe on both. Are you the don't need me chick, or are you the chick that needs me to pay for? Which it's confusing.
No, it is confusing. And I think that's hard. That could be hard on men when they're in this dating stage with women, because yes, women do that a lot. I see that all the time where they want that traditional man, like you said, being the provider, but he got to let me do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. Or, when you question something about them, oh, that doesn't really matter. It's not about that. And it's, again, no accountability, But I don't know. I wanted to ask, because I see the chat going crazy, and is it really, does the generation, as far as the dating, the relationships, the marriage, does that really impact how it works? Because I feel like people go with the time. Like you said, there's people in this Gen X generation trying to, be younger than they, or act younger than they should be acting, or so to speak. My thing is, does that really make a difference? Really? The time really makes a difference? Because everybody moves with the time. The technology made us move.
But see, here's the thing, right? What I always say about relationships against the current times, as people, we evolve with the times, right? So what I used to talk about 90 episodes ago was how our attention spans are shorter.
Yes.
We want news fast, information fast, food fast. It's the natural progression that our relationships and dating we would want fast too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the one thing you can't skirt is human biology, the emotions. And when you take away the communication, because you now have apps and texts and all of this, right? It's the way that people communicate. So I can't take that away. Like, I'm an engineer, I get it. But if you lose the process by which we connect, then by definition, we're never really connected in a way that lasts long term. So situationships look really sexy to a person that doesn't have to connect in the traditional way, because my attention span is short. Maybe I don't want to be here too long. Maybe I do want to be here long, but the other person doesn't. And now you got to play this seesaw game, and then you get hurt because your feelings are in it. That's human. The little fast times that we're in, it doesn't matter. That hurt still feel the same.
Yeah, you're right. But I will say, within my generation, I think when dealing with that hurt is more talked about. Like, mental health is more advocated.
True, very
my
true.
Generation more. So things are more willing to be worked out. Where back in the day is, we ain't talking about that right now. That's just that. Yeah. So they suppress their feelings, and they'll stay. Again, these are things that we saw growing up. They'll stay, but you're not happy. So it's like, dang, well, why don't you just communicate? You have these questions where you see it looking up like, well, why don't you just communicate? Or why don't you just say this? Or why don't you just say that? Again, it's subjective. It could have been the man was the sole provider. It could have been that, these are the kid's father. I don't want to leave. This is where I'm just going to stay. I'm going to try to make it work out. And we see situations like that. And then when we get older and we get into a relationship, we make it very clear, I think that's more advocated within my generation too. I'm cracking up because Triumphant
TV.
Yeah, she said so when I'm saying an alpha female, right? Because when I think of the word alpha, I think of superior, I think of dominant, I think of powerful. I'm not trying to say all of these things cannot be within a woman. What I'm saying is I think that's independence. I think a strong, powerful woman, that's an independent woman. An alpha female, what do you, I don't get that. It's
a lot of women waving that alpha flag. I
don't think being an alpha female is something a man wants. in my opinion, I would think that a man wants a feminine woman.
One would think.
I would think that. Now, of course, being independent, being powerful, a successful woman, like maybe in your career base, you're the leader, you know, you play this leadership role. Yes, but that's not an alpha female. No, it's an independent, strong, powerful female. Of course, alpha, no. Because do we go around saying there's beta females? There's sigma females? You know,
let's not even get into all of the fraternities and sororities or personality types. Like, which one are you pledging? You are alpha, beta, sigma? I don't know.
It's a thing.
I know it is. I know it is. And I feel like if I have to put myself in one box, it's very limiting on my personality. Like, I feel like some days I could be more alpha and some days I could be more beta, and I can ride that because I'm looking at, like, I've been called, like I always tell people, which blew my mind, dudes that were from like millennials or whatever, they was like, you're a simp because you got married. That means you yielded to the woman. And I'm like, that's your only criteria? Like, oh yeah, it's that whole, you know, the whole manosphere and all that stuff is crazy. Like, I don't subscribe to that, because I feel like my masculine connected with your feminine, there's a part of me that's going to want to kind of have you right here. And a part of that is I may not necessarily be the one that's always in charge of everything. Based on what you good at, I'm going to let you lead here. I'm going to lead here, and we just going to make it work. Like, when you talk,
that's the dynamic duo, and that, you know, again, that goes back to the communication. I think more so of the alpha and the man, because I just see joyful and blessed. See, the word dominant I don't think that's the problem. That's the problem for me, because a lot of women say, oh, you know, what is submitting? They feel less than, they feel weaker, or they feel like they don't have no control. And in my opinion, I feel like, you know, one that is submissive to her husband, or, you know, to her partner at this time, whatever, is a trusting. You don't just submit to anybody. And when I think of alpha, I think of a man, to be honest. I think of a man. I don't think it got nothing to do like that guy saying, oh, you're married, you're a simp. No, I think, in my opinion, a simp is a man who leads with his wallet. That is a simp to me. That's the only thing. I don't, other stuff I don't care about. But alpha,
and the thing, the last point I want to make about this is, and we talked about this on the Shop Talk show with the fellas, because I see Triumphant TV is one of the gentlemen that's on that show, and he was like, the Shop Talk did not believe such things. So what I've learned how to speak about the submission thing a little better as a married man that functions, because a lot of times you'll see these male female wars, black male black female wars about submission and what it means, but when you actually talk to people that are in long-term relationships or married long-term, they're like, the hell are y'all talking about? That's not how this works. We don't have talks about who's submitting and who makes more money. We just make it work. But the single people are fighting over this stuff. They're like, no, it's supposed to be like this. And I'm like, yo, like, when you get into something, it's not always going to be one. Like, I could lose my job. Yeah. So now if I lose my job, I'm no longer.
The scarcity thing that you stated. That's what they trying to secure all aspects, because whoa, I can't take the less end of the stick.
And so what I've learned, because submission is a trigger for a lot of people, and it pisses people off, because they'll say it means you're going to be a slave. So here's how I learned, and I spoke about this on the Shop Talk show, and I actually learned this from another one of my co-hosts on that show, Tony Massey, about having a vision and a goal and a direction for where you want your relationship to go, and you both submit to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? My wife being feminine and me being masculine, there's a natural space that she's going to fit in, because there's a masculine and a feminine, right? But submission, we're submitting to whatever the hell the goal is for us to get to. And we both, so she may be up one day, I may be up one day, and vice versa. And we're submitting to the fact that we got a foundation and we're moving towards this goal. My masculine, certain things are going to happen because I'm the man of the house. And if she's a feminine woman, she's going to naturally fall into that. It's just like having a woman and she's leaning on your chest, right? It's a natural thing if you're a feminine woman that you just want to be held and protected in that way. And if you're in a relationship that functions like that, you're going to feel those arms around you even when I'm not there. And you're going to be like, I feel like a lady. But if you are talking about, well, she needs to submit to me and I'm the one that's running most of these dudes out here can't run a household by themselves.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about?
And they think that women are supposed to submit to them because they may have the money to do so. They make this much. And that's what I said. That is simp behavior to me, because you're leading with your wallet. You're not being intentional with your words, or you're intentional with exactly what you want. Dating is like a transaction. I got to make a shirt that says that, because that's exactly what's going on. And it's hard. That's why I rather, and nowadays I say, I'm not really into the dating thing. I'm working on myself. I'll attract what I want eventually at this point, because it's crazy out here. It's crazy. Y'all ones is lucky. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm looking. I think we talked about a lot. We probably should wrap this. We
definitely unpacked a lot.
Yeah, we unpacked a lot, but we're gonna have you back. Like, we gotta figure something else out, because I like the way you think. But I'm gonna say this too: you earned your unicorn title tonight.
I'm okay with that.
Even when I didn't know you at any length, I called you that the first time I ever had a dialogue with you, and you proved it tonight. That's not a bad thing. But I'm gonna say this: hold on, before you wrap this up, I just would like to know, what is your definition or your take on a unicorn? Because I kind of know what it is, but I would like to hear what you have. Because you don't fit into a box, right? A lot of people, even though we claim there's nobody out there, a lot of us fit into categories and boxes, right? Everybody on here tonight can say you don't fit in the box. And it's not a bad thing, because it makes, like, whether someone on here agrees or disagrees with your stance, they know that there's flavor there, that there's nuance there. And when someone has nuance without you being just ridiculous,
right,
there's a certain level of respect that has to come with that, because you're bucking the system. Like, you're leading your own way. And that's why I called you that, because when you were answering even on the IG Live, I was like, this is a little different. You're a unicorn, because I hear a lot. Like, I talk and I listen to, I be on Clubhouse and all these, and I absorb like ridiculous amount, just like you do, because you be out, and you hear the same things a lot. Like, everybody's like, oh my God, submission is slavery. And I'm like, how many of y'all think this? And then when somebody says, the woman jumps up and says, no, you guys are wrong, that's the unicorn.
Okay, I respect that. And I respect that. I respect that.
So yeah, like for me, like, I know when I was growing up and this be eating to adult, like, when you buck the system and people be looking at you like, why do you think? Like, I embrace my uniqueness. A lot of people don't. A lot of people follow and they want to be, they want to follow what they see as popping online. And I'm like, no, that's not who you are. And that is why you can't connect with someone effectively, because you're pretending to be something that you're not. And so, like, to your point, whatever situation you get into later on in life, that person is going to really have to be someone who is also going against the grain, so that you guys can really, like, merge. That person, he, she, whatever, has to really understand. And that means that there's a certain level of communication and a bond that has to be built. And when you have to spend that much energy building a bond, you create a foundation. So that's why I always champion people who don't necessarily keep those same talking points and they travel their own way. Even if I may not agree with all of it, I respect the hell out of somebody who can say, this is who I am and I'm going to go this way. So that's why Triumphant says there are only talking points. No one is thinking through any of this. Yeah, because as you know, when you're out here on these IG lives and all this other kind of stuff,
right?
If you go on 10 of them and the topic is relationships, you're going to hear a lot of the same talking points and jargon, and everybody's talking about submission. Everybody's talking about 50-50. Everybody's talking about these men ain't shit and these women are doing this. It's the same stuff. Like, you could probably do about 30 different points and everybody's talking about that same thing, but nobody's talking about how do we fix it? How do we bring it? Or do we even care?
Right. Or do we even care? And that's the big question, because
Do we
Exactly.
care about coming? Like this is why when you see me speak about this stuff, the reason why, because I'm an engineer, like this is not in my wheelhouse, but I care about people and community so much that this is a passion of mine. Like, if you don't know how to communicate at 25, I'm gonna need you to catch me so that I can give you some tools. So when you do make that decision, you're
You
not
ain't
gonna make that
lying.
divorce rate go up and up and up. You're gonna be like, I made this based on a judgment and a decision based on me having communication tools. Sir, when you argue, how do you do that? Like, are you one of these type of dudes that slam doors? Or are you kind of more like because if you're a yeller, that's a deal breaker for me. I can't do that.
And that's the thing. It's a lot of aggression that comes in with people who do not know how to articulate themselves. And that's something I pride on very heavy, just as an all-around creator, that I love that I'm able to articulate myself and get my point across. And respect other people's views too. But I definitely get my point across because sometimes, I could get me easily misunderstood by what I say. So I like to always give that part of me because, people will always assume, but at least I can clear the air,
Yeah. So, I always say I can't save everybody, but if I can save a few,
because there's ones that want to listen. You coaching too. If they want to, you could, like the great saying they say, you could bring the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink it. People got to want to know and want to have the passion to fix themselves. I'm big on that, like mental health and all of that. Like you said in the beginning of this whole live, I'm advocate of that as well. I think it's very important to make sure self is good. You can't pour out of an empty cup, no matter if it's a relationship, friendship, anything. You have to make sure, you are 100%.
Yep. And if you don't have that, then this whole dating conversation is a moot point.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't even matter.
It's like a 360. We just did a whole 360. That's why a lot of and that's the accountability part. Nobody want to talk about that. Oh, like you said, I went on 5 dates and none of them worked. They were all this. Okay, but what's up with you? Make you turn the eye. What's good with you though? I don't just blame men. Women got to be accountable too. So
yeah. So we let's see. Triumphant TV says, how can you communicate if most of your social interaction is through technology? Communication is not just for so it's a lot, right? Because you have a generation that's coming up where that's all you knew was texting and in technology. I don't want to, like I said, as a tech guy, I don't want to take that element out of it because then we have to now say we're trying to make them mold to how we were. But I also say that there is a certain point where that human interaction matters when you're talking about a relationship. Because if not, you might as well just have a 5-year relationship on FaceTime.
Exactly. And people do that. There's long-term distance relationships all the time. But I don't want to blame technology. Like, I think, yes, technology has made it easier for us to communicate and get in contact and be in the same space, share the same space. But I do think if you know how to articulate yourself in real life, then you know how to articulate yourself in texting, in FaceTime, in email, and anything else. You are able to get your point across. So I think it's all subjective of who the person is. Because as much as I don't like talking on the phone so much, I'm a texter. I don't mind. I can still get I can still say what I need to say on the phone. I think it's more just a preference thing. But I mean, that again, that's just how technology has changed. I remember back in the day when we used to do 3-call way in high school and stuff like that. You didn't have the whole cell phone and this and that. So that's just what it's going to be. No one's going to revert back to, ain't nobody writing letters and going to the U.S. Postal Service and getting a 32-cent stamp no more. We're not doing that.
Come on, man. I ain't that old. Ain't no pen pals going on. Like,
pen pals used to be fun. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say this in closing, then we're gonna wrap it up, and then I'll let you have the last word. And then tell people how they can find you. I pay attention to people in all generations and what they speak about. And like I said, I be on all the social medias and just consuming content as a coach because I want to keep my ear to. I don't want to always sound like the older person trying to pass judgment, but I will say that even though we have devices that connect us more than we ever have, we're also probably separated more than we ever have been too. And I think when we lose the ability to give a damn about each other, then we lose a part of the human condition, the human spirit. When we have people out here that go out here purposely to hurt other people, and then those people have to then go out and be somebody's mom and go back out on the dating scene as not even, they're going out as a different version of themselves because now they're carrying that stuff. And when you realize that there's a bigger picture, there's a community, there's kids that have to watch how you moving, then we can go out and date and meet people. We don't even say hello on the street no more. Like, that's the stuff. Like, I know it'll never get back there because we're like way past that, but damn it, how you doing? Good morning. Like, if we can't do that,
it's not like that down south.
Hold on. Let me stop you. We ain't that damn down south, okay?
I mean, kinda. Let me tell you something. Because I was born in the Bronx. No, people don't say good morning. People don't.
Yeah,
we're
so
how you doing? I thought that was that Southern hospitality.
No, okay. So Maryland is below the Mason-Dixon line, which is PA, right? So technically we're south, but the type of stuff you talking about is like South Carolina, Alabama, Texas. We still kind of DC. It's kind of like that here too, but
wow,
it's not. We've gotten away from it because it's a me. It's a me society, like me.
Everyone.
And if I have to pour into you or get to know you, it's a risk. So who wants to do that?
No,
so
you're right. And just into because I know you're about to close out, but just into Erica's podcast topic, I think COVID has also added that into us as well. Nobody wants to be close. That interaction is also missing due to COVID as well. We went a whole year with socially distancing. So at this point, anybody getting too close to you, you giving them the side eye. So that makes it harder enough for people to even try to build a connection, whether not even a relationship, even friendship wise. You always skeptical, like, hold on, what's going on?
Yeah. So. And again, I got some good people that I interact with every week, and I'm holding up the flag that says, damn it, we all need to really get back to communing with, like, it's hard. Like, I'm an introvert, right? But I know it's important for me to connect with people. Like, I'm forcing myself. Like, I just met a gentleman today on IG, and he comes on my lives, and I'm like I hear the DMV area in your voice. Like, you from the DMV, and then now we got each other's phone numbers, right? We don't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So that's just a dude, right? If we can't even do that, how do we even build a relationship with somebody that we fall in love with? Oh my gosh, I said the L word. I know we don't do that anymore because that's another title. Like, so anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. We gotta do this again, even if you come on the IG live. I know that's your hood, the IG live. I'm gonna have you back because this is a good discussion. But I also want to pick your brain on other topics too, because I know it's a lot of stuff up in there. So yeah, we're gonna wrap this up, guys. I'm gonna let you have the last word. Any last parting words or thoughts, and then tell people how they can find you, and then we're gonna get out of here.
Yes. So I just want to say again, Derek, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate the fact that you take the time to kind of dissect what's going on, and our generation, our millennium, whether it's Gen Z generation, to figure out like what's going on, get some better understanding, and feeling like we're not being judged for speaking this way. You know what I'm saying? It's just two different aspects, two different outlooks, and I like that. I respect that. Also, for the viewers and etc., you guys can follow me on Instagram at with 2 E's Barbie Way. The link in my bio is pretty much where everything can be found, such as my YouTube channel, where you can stream the Barbie Way podcast and just follow the content that I do. This was so much fun. I really do looking forward to coming back and having some other dope discussions up here.
Hold on, let me see something here. Let me make sure. Let me see. All right, hold on, because I know folks, they either gonna need to screenshot it because they ain't gonna go back and try to find it.
Can I just say the flyer that you made was dope as hell. Okay, I just had to say, like, it was just so dope.
Thank you. So look, ladies and gentlemen, just for context, right? You know how in this anyway, y'all know that I create all the flyers, right? But I'm not a graphic artist. Like, I just do it out of necessity. So I don't like advertise that I do them because then people are gonna be like, hey, I want a flyer, and then they be like, I want purple, and then you give it to them in purple. I don't have time. It's not enough hours in a day. So when I asked her for a photo, right, she gave me the little, you know how people have those little caricatures and cartoons that they have for their logos and stuff? She sent me that. So my first reaction was, I'm gonna try to use this, but next time I'm gonna need something out your photo album because I don't like, this ain't how my flyers go.
This is not what we're doing here. I said,
yeah, I was like, I don't, because they don't know what you look like. I like for people to really like see and feel even from a picture. So I'm like, I'm gonna need a picture. I didn't want to press you though, but I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need something. And then you was like, in true millennial whatever form, you was like, oh, it's pictures all over my feed. So, and I was just like,
now, not the true millennial 4 now, and now we're not gonna throw that in there.
But we made it work. So yeah, thank you for that. Like I try not to be too fancy, but I want it to be impactful. I want people to want to come and vibe with the thing, and we accomplished that tonight. Yes, so I'm happy about that. So yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up. Everybody who came in, let me make sure I'm getting dope discussions with Erica just followed you. She's a coach too. So she has a lot of I always tell her that she's the boundary queen. Like she online dates and her block game is tight. But and you gotta have that in this day and age, or you be dealing with some folks.
Listen, I'm trying to be intentional, Eric. I'm trying to be intentional, okay?
Yeah. My wife says the art of booking is dead. That may be an old term to you guys. Getting hollered at or whatever you want to call it is a dead art form because that required you to have game. So anyway, now they be like, let me get your IG. Anyway.
They do that.
Let me get your Snapchat. Anyway, thank you again. I'm glad you came on. This was a good show. My wife says round 2 next week. We can, I said, Courtney be in these streets. We got to get on her schedule.
Listen, I'm around.
So yeah, I'm gonna keep in touch with you. We're gonna do this again because this was fun. And everybody that's on here, we appreciate you. Glad you came. Make sure you come back next week, same time, same place. Gonna be another great topic. Not sure if I'm gonna do a guest or not because sometimes y'all like my solo show, so I try to give you that too. But IG, first of all, go to relationshipgumbo.info, or if you're on IG, go to my link in my bio and follow me on IG. I do a lot of pop-ups on IG. We have a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and we talk about this stuff. So come in on IG and always, come back to the podcast as audio and video. So yeah, just link everything from there. So on that note, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you guys again. Love you guys. Make sure that you come back. Keep coming back. Follow Courtney. Follow the folks in the comments if you have to. Like everybody that I've seen in here, great comments. Follow each other. Let's connect. Let's communicate, and let's grow the community. So on that note, have a great day.
All right.
All right. Podcast portion is over. And y'all have a good day. And we're going to get out of here. Let me play my little music. And y'all have a great night.
Okay, everybody wants good love, that's true, I know. Derrick Jones about to break it down with the relationship gumbo. Welcome to the podcast. Ain't no doubt we all need this, cause better relationships need better ingredients, so if you want better relations, it's about communication, finding love, staying together. We all wanna make it better, yeah. Derrick Jones, the host, your relationship coach. Thank you all for tuning in. Relationship gumbo.